Geography of Silence. The Blue Hour Cafe was an island of amber light in a sea of gray rain. Leora sat by the window, watching the droplets race down the glass like tears that forgot their names. She stirred her tea until it grew cold, wondering if the man she loved was still the person who occupied the space across from her. The silence between them had become a third guest at the table, heavy and unyielding. Across the city, Caspian sat in the blue glow of his apartment, the cursor on his phone blinking like a heartbeat. He was young, his face smooth, and his dark hair ruffled by restless hands. He had written, "I'm sorry for being so quiet lately," 10 times, and deleted it 11. He feared that speaking his exhaustion would only add to her burden. He assumed she wanted strength, so he gave her a wall of stone, never realizing she was looking for a door. They met on the corner of 5th and Main, where the streetlights hummed a low electric static. Caspian held the umbrella, but the wind kept the rain dancing between them. He reached for her hand, then pulled back, thinking she looked too fragile to touch. Leora felt the movement, the phantom limb of a gesture, and assumed he was pulling away for good. Leora remembered the way they used to talk until the sun bruised the sky purple. Now she edited her thoughts before they reached her lips. She watched him walk beside her and saw a stranger wearing a familiar coat. "He is already gone," she whispered to the wind. "He is just waiting for the right time to say it." Caspian saw the way Leora looked at the horizon and felt a cold knot in his chest. He believed she was dreaming of a life without his shadows. He wanted to tell her that he loved her more than the breath in his lungs, but the words felt clumsy and small against the vastness of her perceived distance. He stayed silent to preserve the peace, not knowing it was the peace of a graveyard. The shared apartment became a map of unspoken territories. Leora stayed in the kitchen, tracing the patterns on a chipped mug. Every clink of the spoon felt like a shout. She waited for him to ask her to stay, to ask her what was wrong, to fight for the us that was evaporating like mist. They sat on the sofa together, the space between them only a few inches, yet it felt like a canyon. Caspian's hand moved an inch toward hers, a silent plea for connection. Leora shifted to tuck her hair behind her ear at the exact same moment. The missed connection was a quiet tragedy, a bridge collapsing in slow motion. That night, Caspian stood on the balcony as the city blurred into a watercolor of neon and charcoal. He realized that they were two ghosts haunting the same house. He loved her enough to let her find the light he thought he could no longer provide. He didn't see her standing in the doorway, watching his back, waiting for him to turn around. The end didn't come with a scream, but with a soft clicking of a suitcase. They stood in the foyer, the air thick with everything they hadn't said. Caspian took her hand one last time, his grip lingering. He wanted to say, "Don't go." She wanted to say, "Tell me to stay." Instead, they both said, "Take care of yourself." Leora walked into the cool morning air, her footsteps echoing on the pavement. The love was still there, a golden thread stretching thin across the miles, but the timing had frayed. Behind the window, Caspian watched her go, finally finding the words but having no one left to hear them. They were right for each other, but wrong for the silence they chose.